All right. Well, Shawty want to be a thug. She's in the back, doing her thing, laying, making the eggs. Just saying. And right now the focus is to do outreach and video content just like this, because at the end of the day, what matters most is staying consistent on whatever you're doing. And in this case, it's making sure that we're consistent on the business and making sure that we actually get clients in the door, because from now on, it just comes down to consistency and effort. That's all it comes down to. Making sure that you're staying consistent in what you're doing so that you last long enough to get the result, because there's no reason you shouldn't get results if you're consistent. It just has to come one way or another. But as long as you stay consistent on it, it's gonna pay off. And in this case, we've been consistent for a few years now. Haven't got the big major win, however, the experience is there. The experience is definitely there. And we just keep going with it. That's all we keep doing, is we keep going with it and making sure that we're on top of our efforts, we're on top of our consistency. And in most cases, trust me, it's hard for me to get up in the morning, but I know it needs to be done. It's required, because then you have more time throughout the day. You don't feel all groggy in the morning. And therefore, when you have more time throughout the day, you can do more, stay productive, and make sure that things get done, because that will bring results, inputs and outputs. That's all it requires. But with consistency, there's no reason you shouldn't make it. There's no reason you shouldn't get the result if you're staying consistent and on top of it. So there's no reason to be intimidated by other people that are higher up than you, because when I was filming at I Do Epic Live, there was many successful entrepreneurs around me. And yet I just came from living in a car for 7 months. But if I'm being transparent with them, they connect with my story because they know I'm a real person. And at the end of the day, what matters most is that you're transparent, so that you don't have to work twice as hard to keep up with that fake persona that you think you need to be in. Because higher heads, big entrepreneurs, they don't care if you're this big flashy dude. What they care about is that you're a person. And that's why I believe that vulnerability and transparency are the two most important things if you want to connect with someone. And you typically connect with their core if you're able to be vulnerable, because they know that they're not the only ones that aren't perfect. And when they're hearing your vulnerability and they're hearing your transparency, then they know that, okay, this person isn't perfect as well, just like me. And you have to go through that. You have to go through a moment of imperfection in order to get to something that feels perfect for you. It's just gonna come down to taking imperfect action, because when you dump out all the Legos, let's say, you dump out all the Legos, it's a mess. But eventually, the more you start building it and the more you start putting pieces together, that's when you start to form something that will look perfect in your eyes. But you need to get started with first dumping all the Legos out. And that right there is a mess, but slowly but surely, you get to the result, the end result of now having something built. And that's the same with life. You have to just dump all the Legos out. It's gonna be imperfect. It's gonna be a mess at first. Slowly but surely, you get there. And it just comes down to taking that imperfect action that you don't wanna take. It's tough to go through moments where you have so much uncertainty. However, that uncertainty is only building character as you're going through the journey. So building character and becoming the person you want to be has a price. And that price is going through that journey of pain. It's like going through the jungle. Most won't want to go through the jungle. They would say, no, let's just go back, or let's just settle here for a bit. But those that actually go through and they eventually make it through, those are the people that take the risk. And if someone were to tell you, all right, cross the Sahara Desert, you're gonna be like, no way I'm crossing that desert. But let's say you had a child, or you had a mom, or you had a dad that was on the other side, and the only way to save them was to cross that desert. You would probably think about it and be like, well, There's something that matters on the other side of this desert. And that's just what it comes down to. Knowing that you have purpose in life is going to drive you more than just doing it for money or just doing it to have this flashy lifestyle. At the end of the day, what matters more is the reason why you're getting up in the morning, the reason why you're actually making shit happen. That purpose is more than just fuel. It's your engine that drives you. So you might as well have a strong why in your life, and you might as well figure it out earlier than later, because it's just going to drive you further the longer you have that why with you. And it just comes down to decisions. Emotions typically lead decisions. And if you're in the right emotional state, meaning you're fueled up, you feel great every morning, you feel productive, there's a higher chance that you're going to drive further and make it further than the person that is just feeling groggy in the morning, feeling depressed, feeling like they're not getting ahead. Because at the end of the day, that person is letting their emotions take over them. And when you do that, you slow down a lot more. That's why in business, you remove emotions. In fact, you remove the E out of the word emotion, and all you have left is motion. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, is making sure that you're in motion, not having emotions. Remove the E out of emotion and be left with motion. Because it comes down to how far are you getting every day? How much progress are you making every day? Even if it's just 1% every day of progress that you're making, you're more ahead than 99% of people, because they're losing progress. They're not progressing. They're getting left behind. That's why with today's day, with so much technology going on and AI advancing faster than any other technology has ever advanced, it's now going to be either you stay up to date or you get left behind. And you might as well at least progress 1% a day, even if it means making one piece of content like this a day, or even if it means reaching out to one business a day to do business with you. You might as well progress at least 1% a day, because life and business is a game of doubles. Yes, it might be just 1% a day, but that's going to double over time, because the compound effect is going to kick in. Eventually, it's not going to be 1%. It's going to double to 2%. And then you're going to be at 2% for a while, and then it's going to double to 4%, then 8, 16, 32. It goes from there. So you might as well be a person of action. And even if it's just 1% a day, just know with consistency, the compound effect is going to kick in. And you're eventually going to be progressing so much more that when you look back, you're going to be like, damn, I remember I was only doing 1% a day. Now I'm 100% a day, because I've gotten to this level. It's not overnight. However, time will pass either way. Whether you're sleeping or whether you're working, time is passing. Time is going. It's progressing on its own, with or without you. So you might as well progress with the time that you have. And progress more than you can. Put in all of your effort every day. And even if you can't, at least, again, start with 1% a day, and it'll double over time. So if your goal is to see your progression, you might as well make content like this, progressing on your journey. Make content documenting your journey so that you can see the progression that you've made throughout the time that you've been documenting the journey, which is exactly why I'm documenting my journey, is to see the progression that we've made. That way, we know that there was progression in play. It just comes down to being on the journey and be willing to take some failures and be willing to take imperfect action, because you're not going to get it right every time, and that's okay. Life isn't perfect, and neither are you, or neither am I. But imperfect action will help you progress, because even if you start off doing the wrong thing, now you have momentum. And now let's say you figure out the right thing. Okay, well now that momentum is going to help you with doing the right thing. And progression is all that matters in life and in business. So you might as well take 1% a day as progression. Just keep going at the end of the day, because time is going to pass either way, whether you're sleeping or whether you're working. So stay up to date on it. Keep going. At least that's what I'm doing here. And we're just documenting the way. So document your journey and let's keep going, all right?